So, here I am to talk to you guys about Warhammer's Vermintide 2, a sequel to the game of the same name, minus the 2. Vermintide 2 is a melee-focused co-op hack-and-slash game. Following the events of the first game, the 5 heroes have been captured and are imprisoned by the Ratmen army, or Vermintide. As you watch from a cage and see a giant rift gate being opened, you quickly learn how crappy rat scientists are, and a big explosion causes you to fall to your death. The end. Nah, just kidding. Of course not. That'd be dumb. But for reals, I actually read up on the story for you folks. Basically, the Ratmen have teamed up with the Rotbloods, aka Zombie Men, to destroy Gondor, or whatever the Warhammer equivalent to Gondor is. That's pretty much it. So, to make things extra special for this game, they were all like,
"Hey, you know what's cooler than having an army of mindless rat soldiers killing in the name of?"
"Oh, what's that, dear old chap?"
"You ready for this? Mindless rat soldiers and dirty zombie men."
"Say what, old boy?"
Alright, moving on. So here, you wake up after the fall, and this is where the tutorial actually starts. You know, the basic movement controls, what button makes you do what, and you learn how satisfying it is to bash in Ratman heads. When you finally finish the tutorial, you're teleported to the Ruin Keep, which will be your main base. This is a locker room where you will change your gear, join up with friends, change characters, and play some slap ass. There are 5 characters to choose from in this game, each with their own special, passive, and active abilities. Your choices of characters are:
you have the tall, noble jerk-off mercenary, and you have the small, dirty dwarf ranger, the
not pretty enough to be in Lord of the Rings elf Waystalker.
Then there's the witch hunter, whose face looked like it was caught on fire and someone put it out with a really big, ugly stick. And finally, the battle wizard, who looks like a woman who fell off the ugly tree and hit every ugly branch on her way down. Seriously, these are some of the ugliest looking characters. I'm glad there's plenty of masks to wear and it's in first person. Ugh. So playing as your selected character and getting kills and finishing missions will net you XP, and at every 5 levels you will get another passive skill to equip, all the way to level 25. At level 7 and 12, you unlock a new career. These careers have their very own passive, active, and sometimes unique weapons that career can only use. As of right now, there is only one character with a 4th career. This one and other 4th careers are DLC only. I'll touch on DLC in a bit. So now you have the leveling system. There's also a power level system. This is what will determine your strength and how well you will succeed at a higher difficulty. This system, the power level system, is solely based on your gear. So you're probably asking, hey, how do I get more gear? Great question. Well, at the end of each mission, you will get a crate or a loot crate. Inside could be a weapon, a trinket, necklace, or a charm. The rarer the item, depicted by the background color, could include passive abilities and of course higher power level. So here's the neat thing about the loot crates, is that any of your characters can use these loot crates. So let's say, for example, your mercenary has 15 crates that he's collected over his time of playing the game. But now you want to increase the power level of your witch hunter. All you have to do is select your witch hunter, run up to the crate and open it, and the items will be for your witch hunter at a higher level. This game does have a wide variety of weapons to choose from, mainly melee weapons such as swords, axe, flails, spears, and warhammers, while ranged weapons are bows, pistols, blunderbusses, crossbows, rifles, and magic, which only the battle wizard can do. The ugly, terrible battle wizard.
No, but how do we get into doing the missions?
Simple. You choose your mission from some dirty old map inside the Ruined Keep. You can choose to play with yourself or up to 3 others. You step into the Shadow Bridge and off to the mission you go. Now, if you're like me and super cool, you'll probably play this game a lot by yourself. No worries, the game fills your party up with the AI, and these AI are pretty legit. Actually, a little too legit. These guys will steal your kills because they are that good. But that comes in handy when you're playing by yourself, especially when you encounter elite soldiers, bosses, and the 9 specialized units who will hunt you down on each map. Yeah. The combat in this game is probably my favorite thing about it. Smashing and slashing off heads and limbs, blasting fatties in the face is very satisfying in this game. Make sure to wear a parka, cause this game is bloody. Now, combat is just as simple as
Hork, hork, hork. Me mash left click and kill all.
and that's pretty much it.
So, since I started on this path of negativity,
I'll keep going with it. There is no sprint in this game, like none. You will always be walking at this weird in between walking and I think I need to poop kind of pace, which in turn makes the game pacing very slow. Sure, you can try to speedrun this game and race the objective, but due to your characters walking on baby legs and the large maps, matches are a bit long. So the final negative thing about this game is something that I mentioned earlier, DLC. In order to play the 2 other campaigns, you'll have to purchase the DLC, one being a refresh of levels from the first game, and another introducing new maps plus new enemy type,
The Beastmen.
There's also a small addition of new weapons which are apparently the new meta for harder difficulties. Then there is the whole 4th career for the characters being locked behind paid DLC, and then of course there is cosmetic DLC. Now, I really don't care about cosmetics. If you want a pig on your head, then so be it. It doesn't affect me in any way. But preventing me from playing as a new career does affect me. They really should have had that tied behind in-game challenges, or something you unlocked after beating the game on the hardest difficulties. So there is a collector's edition which does include all of the expansions, but not the careers. If you happen to have a friend who owns any of the DLC, or if you end up in a random person's game who owns the DLC, you can play those maps and possibly fight Dirty Beastmen. I rate games on a 3-step program called FET, Fun, Effort, and Time.
Foon.
I really enjoyed bashing and smashing, slashing and casting, shooting and blasting enemies away in this game. The sound effects and the visceral pictures really add a sense of oomph to the violence you commit. Just mowing down a horde of enemies gives you a sense of enjoyment as they fall beneath your blade. Of course, you don't really get to enjoy it because as you watch a headless body slump down, there are like 30 more bad guys with their heads that need to be lost. This keeps you going with that violent high you're looking for.
Effort!
There is really not much that needs to be learned about this game. You point your crosshair, mash that left click, earn XP, level up, choose a new ability, and go back to killing. Objectives are simple. Either it involves you moving a cart here, or you gather explosives there, free people, and then just run for the Shadow Bridge. Time. Majority of the maps you play are long. Due to the slow pace of the characters, large maps, and having to find your way through a maze-like areas to get to an objective usually lasts just about 20 minutes or more. If you're limited to how much time you can play, this game might be a one map kind of game and move on to something else.
Final verdict.
This game is a forget.
Forget about it.
I know I talked about how fun the game is and how easy it is to get into, but with how long the maps are, how basic the game is, and if you're a loner, it's not really worth picking up. The only exception to my suggestion is if you and your friends do have a lot of time on your hands and have been looking for an easy to get into and fun co-op only game. Other than that, I would highly suggest saving your $7.50 for another game. Hey, if you liked my video and found it fun and informative, and I saved you a few bucks, why don't you give me a like and subscribe? Thanks, and happy gaming. 20 treats, it's 20 treats.